Kashmir at one time happened to be a water body. So almost every area, every part of it was covered by the water. Then later on, because of the drainage, the gorge which was created from the Baramulla side, the water got drained from that side and many of the areas came up.
The Dal Lake is very important lake for many reasons. You know, the tourists that visit Srinagar, one of the places that is on their itinerary is the Dal Lake. It has a tremendous socio-economic importance because the livelihood of the people is dependent on this. It is a source of recreation, it is a tourist attraction. It has a tremendous importance for meeting the domestic demands of water in the Srinagar city.
It was during the Dogra period, and because of the state policies that outsiders cannot have land, they cannot construct here. So the only choice left to them was to go for these houseboats, because they were a sort of a luxury kind of accommodation that they were getting.
1950 से थोड़ा पहले महाराजा ने अलाउड किया था यहाँ हाउस बोट्स को, जो छोटे छोटे थे, क्योंकि ब्रिटिश लोग जो ये पहले 47 से पहले आते थे, उनको महाराजा ने यहाँ कोई कंस्ट्रक्शन मकान वगैरह बनाने की इजाज़त नहीं दे दी, तो फिर उन्होंने ये डोंगा बनाया। आजकल के जो हाउस बोट हैं ये कम्पीट करते हैं किसी 5 स्टार होटल के साथ यहाँ कश्मीर में। मार्च अप्रैल में कश्मीर जन्नत से भी ज़्यादा अच्छा लगता है। अप्रैल वी से इज़ द ब्राइड ऑफ कश्मीर।
And then the tourist load into the lake. So people live in those houseboats almost entire year now. So similarly, if you look at people living in the lake, so it has increased from 10,000 to almost 70,000 now. So one of the livelihood of these people living within the lake is the agriculture. So they have expanded, the floating gardens have expanded.
So right from the Mughal period, right from the, down from Sultanate till we come to the Dogra period, there are clear references in the literature which actually talk about this process of encouragement. Now, how this encouragement actually took place? One of the most important factors there was the floating gardens. They were initially only used for this vegetable because there was huge demand from the state, because Kashmir had also a long history of the famines. For initial 8 years, the floating gardens were not taxed. So naturally, such kind of a relaxation by the state have given more encourage to the people to go for further and further encouragements.
ये मसलन ऊपर से घास निकलता है मसलन पानी से, जिसको हम कश्मीरी में कहते हैं पिच, उसी में बोलता है मसलन इसके ऊपर हम थोड़ा सा मसलन जो डाल में सफाई करते हैं उसके ऊपर डालता है, फिर तो ये फ्लोटिंग गार्डन बनता है।
हाँ, गर्मी में आते लौकी आते हैं, भिंडी आती है, खीरा आती है, खरबूजा आती है, तरबूजा आती है, मिर्ची आती है, शिमला मिर्ची आती है। ठंडी में आती है नादरू, शलगम, मूली, गोभी, बंद गोभी, प्याज।
Basically, the people living in the Dal Lake, these 70,000 people have to be made part of the solution of the conservation. That thinking that they are part of the problem and need to be rooted out from the system has not worked. So you will have to build their technical capacity, the educational awareness, you have to give them sustainable livelihoods, the housing which is in sync with the environmental conservation and lake conservation.
We are on the side. We are on the foreshore side. You can see a much clean, at least. But if you go inside, you see the condition is worse.
In my understanding, the major, I think, gap in all these conservation plans have been that there is no synergy. One plan that is under active consideration of the government is to move these houseboats from where they are today to a specific spot, concentrate them there, so that some of these problems, the sewage problems, the wastewater problems, the solid waste problem, could be centralized. One needs to understand every dimension of the problem of this lake. Once you understand all the influences from the houseboats, the influences from the people living within the lake, the influence from the agriculture activity on use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides in the lake, the untreated sewerage from the city that drains into the lake, whatever happens in that catchment, whether it is deforestation, the agriculture activity, the horticulture activity, or the other human activity that happens in that, so has an impact on the Dal Lake. We may not be able to stop, but minimize the degradation of this lake. I think we need to have a very holistic conservation and management plan.